The nations that are no more. Why these countries vanished from the world's maps. Hundreds of nations have risen and fallen since the dawn of history. Republic of Venice, 697 to 1797. The Republic of Venice thrived for more than a millennium. Founded in 697, the iconic city-state became a hugely influential maritime and economic power, enabling its fabulously wealthy merchant class to spend generously on beautiful buildings and art. At its peak, Venice included modern-day northeastern Italy and parts of Croatia, Albania and Greece. The Republic's power waned in the 18th century as new maritime trade routes opened up. A series of crushing defeats destroyed the navy, and Venice was overrun by French and Austrian troops in 1797. It was subsequently divided up between the respective empires. Kudo Mixto, c. 900, 1864. Situated between Spain and Portugal in northwestern Iberia, this tiny microstate operated as a free and independent nation for 7 centuries due to a quirk in medieval manorial relations, which put it outside the control of both countries. Made up of 3 small villages, Kudo Mixto enjoyed all sorts of privileges, from tax-free status to the right to grant asylum. This special treatment would not last forever, of course, and the microstate was finally abolished by the Treaty of Lisbon in 1864. Kingdom of Bohemia, 1198 to 1918. This venerable kingdom, which more or less covered the modern-day Czech Republic, was established in the end of the 12th century by the Přemyslid royal house. It became part of the Holy Roman Empire, a complex of largely independent states that spanned Central Europe. The kingdom was at its peak during the so-called Golden Age of Czech history in the 14th century. When the Holy Roman Empire collapsed in 1806, Bohemia was absorbed into the Austrian Empire and survived until 1918, when it formed the integral part of newly created Czechoslovakia. Abyssinia, 1270 to 1974. Abyssinia, aka the Ethiopian Empire, was a kingdom that included what is modern-day Ethiopia and, later down the line, Eritrea. It endured for 7 centuries. The nation was controlled by the Solomonic dynasty, who claimed descent from the biblical King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Abyssinia was the only African nation besides Liberia that resisted colonization during the 19th century African conflict, and existed until 1974, when Emperor Haile Selassie was overthrown by the Derg community, which went on to establish the People's Republic of Ethiopia. Kingdom of Sardinia, 1324 to 1861. The precursor to modern Italy, the Kingdom of Sardinia was created in 1324 by James II of Aragon and went on to become part of the Spanish Empire. It was given in 1720 to the Duke of Savoy, who unified the territory with his possessions on the Italian mainland. The kingdom was united under a single system in 1848 and annexed Lombardy, the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies and the Central Italian states by 1861. That same year, the Kingdom of Sardinia changed its name to the Kingdom of Italy, and the capital was moved from Turin to Florence and, eventually, in Rome. Moldavia, 1346 to 1859. Located in modern-day Romania, Moldova, and the Ukraine, the Principality of Moldavia was founded in 1346, and remained an independent state until ruler Bogdan III under to Ottoman rule in 1514. Moldavia nevertheless enjoyed a great degree of autonomy, and was a distinct place for centuries. The nation's end came in 1859 when it merged with Wallachia, and went on to form the basis of modern Romania. Maritime Kingdom, 1540 to 1897. The Maritime Kingdom was founded in 1540 by King Andrea Manilo and covered most of Madagascar at its apex. The Merina kings and queens are credited with advancing agriculture on the island and initiating trade with Europe. One of the victims of the 19th century scramble for Africa, the kingdom was invaded by France in 1883 and colonized in 1897, when it became known as the Malagasy Protectorate. Its last ruler, Queen Ranavalona III, was exiled to French Algeria, where she died in 1917. Kingdom of Hawaii, 1795 to 1893. The Kingdom of Hawaii was formed in 1795, when the island states of Hawaii, Oahu, Maui, Molokai, and Lanai united under King Kamehameha. A vulnerable nation located in a strategically important location, the kingdom resisted attempts at colonization by the British and French. The USA was concerned Hawaii would be grabbed by a rival and wanted to prevent the monarchy rewriting the country's constitution to the detriment of American business interests. It backed a coup against Queen Liliuokalani in 1893 and went on to annex the kingdom in 1897. Gran Colombia, 1819 to 1831. Inspired by the ideas of the Enlightenment, Venezuelan military leader Simón Bolívar launched a campaign in 1808 to liberate his country from Spanish rule, and went on to defeat the colonial power during the Venezuelan War of Independence. In 1819, the newly independent Union of Gran Colombia was created, which included Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and parts of Peru. Despite Bolívar's best efforts, the Union was marked by internal division and, after a period of 12 years, the nation was dissolved. Republic of Texas, 1836 to 1846. The independent Republic of Texas didn't even last that long. The province, which extended over modern-day Texas and claimed parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming, had a large population of U.S. settlers and broke away from Mexico in 1836 during the Texas Revolution. Mexico refused to recognize the country, and was a constant threat. Fearing an invasion, a majority of Texians favored annexation by the USA. Despite initial opposition from the American government, which was reluctant at first to absorb a heavily indebted slave-owning territory, Texas was annexed in 1846, becoming the 28th state. Confederate States of America, 1861 to 1865. The Confederacy was formed by 7 slave-holding American states in February 1861 following the inauguration of President Abraham Lincoln, who had campaigned on an anti-slavery platform. The unrecognized breakaway country grew to include a total of 11 southern states. Desperate to hold on to its slaves, the Confederacy attacked Union forces at Fort Sumter in April 1861, triggering the American Civil War. After 4 years of fighting, the South surrendered and the short-lived Confederacy was no more. The 13th Amendment passed that same year, outlawing slavery in the nation. Austria-Hungary, 1867 to 1918. The Austrian Empire was devastated by the Austro-Prussian War of 1866 and forced to enter a mutually beneficial union with its neighbor the Kingdom of Hungary the following year. A force to be reckoned with, Austria-Hungary became a key European power player. As well as boasting enviable military prowess, Austria-Hungary was one of the world's leading manufacturing countries. It may well have survived until the present day, but the nation was on the losing side in World War I, and ended up being dissolved in 1918. Tibet, 1912 to 1951. The ancient region of Tibet achieved independence in 1912 after the fall of China's Qing dynasty. Imperial Chinese troops were ejected and the 13th Dalai Lama declared independence the following year. Though officially a protectorate of China, Tibet enjoyed considerable autonomy. This all came crashing down when the Chinese Communist Party defeated the nationalist government in the Chinese Civil War. In 1950, the People's Liberation Army entered Tibet, asserted Beijing's authority over the region and ended its independence the following year. Many people today still view it as an independent country though. Yugoslavia, 1918 to 1992. Yugoslavia, land of southern Slavs, came into being in 1918 following the collapse of Austria-Hungary. The country was a kingdom until World War II, when King Peter II was deposed and Yugoslavia became a socialist republic under dictator Josip Broz Tito. Tito was successful in holding the country together, but after his death in 1980, simmering ethnic tensions came to the fore as the economy faltered. Slovenia and Croatia declared independence in 1991, and the bitter Yugoslav wars that followed led to the breakup of the nation in 1992. Czechoslovakia, 1918 to 1992. Carved out of former territories of Austria-Hungary that included the Kingdom of Bohemia, Czechoslovakia was born in 1918. The Central European nation started out as a democratic republic, but became a communist state of the USSR in 1946. The nation remained communist until 1989, when the peaceful Velvet Revolution ended. This was followed by increasing nationalist sentiment among Czechs and Slovaks, which prompted the dissolution of the country in 1992, and it split the following year into two sovereign states, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, 1922 to 1991. A key 20th century superpower, the USSR was formed in 1922 following a brutal civil war that ended in victory for the Communist Reds. A one-party state made up of numerous Soviet republics, the vast nation was at odds with the capitalist West since its inception. This clash of ideologies culminated in the Cold War, which brought the world to the brink of nuclear conflict. The country's rigid communist ethos spelled its downfall. By the 1980s, its economy and political system were crumbling. The death knell came in 1989 with the fall of communism in Eastern Europe, and the USSR was formally dissolved in 1991. East Germany, 1949 to 1990. Germany was split into three Western zones and a single Soviet zone following World War II. The Western zones formed the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, while the Soviet zone became the German Democratic Republic or East Germany. The Soviet state, which had a strict command economy, erected the infamous Berlin Wall in 1961 to stop its citizens defecting to the more affluent West. By the late 1980s, the regime was on death's door politically and economically. The peaceful revolution of 1989 dealt the final blow and led to the fall of the Iron Curtain and reunification of Germany. North and South Vietnam, 1955 to 1975. Communist revolutionary Ho Chi Minh, who declared independence from French Indochina in 1945, captured much of northern Vietnam by the early 1950s and defeated the former colonial power in 1954. The peace talks that followed granted Vietnam independence and split the country into two zones, North Vietnam and South Vietnam, with elections planned for 1956 that would unite them. The South's anti-communist leader Ngo Dinh Diem refused to hold the reunification elections, and the North reacted by starting the bloody 20-year Vietnam War. Despite the involvement of US, Australian and Thai forces, the South was defeated by the Soviet Union and China-backed North, and the two zones were forcibly united in 1976 to create the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. United Arab Republic, 1958 to 1971. Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser dreamed of establishing a powerful pan-Arab state, based on socialist principles, and got the ball rolling in 1958 with the creation of the United Arab Republic, UAR, a union formed by Egypt and Syria. The union itself lasted just 3 years. Egypt's dominance of the UAR and Nasser's socialist policies resulted in a backlash from the Syrian elite, and a coup ended the alliance in 1961. Egypt, however, retained the name for another 10 years.